everyone, it's Teri with Sewing RV Style. Because I want to show you a really quick project that you can make. I made these scrunchy keychain holders and they're made, as you can see, in two different sizes. I needed something to hold on to my RV keys, and you know, if you need them for work or something that you need your key around you all the time without having to lose it or figure out where it went, these are the perfect gift. Okay, so the tools that we're going to need today is one 2.5 inch strip for the thinner one and one 3.5 inch strip for the bigger one. And then we're going to need a 9.5 inch by 1 inch piece of elastic if you want to make the wider keychain, or a 3/4 inch by 9.5 inches if you want to make the narrower one. So we're making both of those today. And then you're going to need 2 of the key fobs, and they've got little teeth in them, and a key ring. You'll need 1 for each keychain, and we're making 2. And then you're going to need one of the tools. And mine has the little rubbers on them so that it doesn't scar up the key fobs. All right, so let's get to cutting the fabric. So as you can see, this fabric has a little stain on it, but once it's scrunched up, you're not even gonna see that one. So that makes for a good fabric to use on something like this. So I'm going to line up the end of the fabric with the edge of the fabric here on 2.5 inches, and then this is lined up. And then don't forget to always push down on your ruler, and then close your blade, and then cut that. Save this if you want for something else. And then we'll do the heart one at 3.5 inches. And I need to switch rulers for that one. And because I am left-handed, my 1.5 inch number is up in my left-hand corner. 3.5 is on this side of the fabric, and the fold is down here on this line. And go ahead and cut that. And move your fabric always, so if you didn't cut all the way through, your good fabric is still held down. As you can see, I held my ruler down. And then they need to be 22 inches long, each of them. All right, so we're going to line this one up on our cutting mat. And let me flip this around. Sorry about that. Because I'm left-handed, I need it to go this way. All right, 22 inches is right at the edge of my fabric, or the selvage. I'm going to go ahead and cut that selvage off. If yours is a little bit shy of the 22 inches, it's okay. If it happens to be a little bit bigger, like 22.5, that's okay too. Go ahead and set this one aside because, again, we're making 2 of them. And since they both really have the bad ends, and I'm sure I'm not going to be cutting too much off, but this one's worse, so let's put that down on the cutoff side. All right, and line up everything on a line, and line up your ruler on the 22 inches and cut. So I was able to get rid of one of those bad ends. All right, so from here, let me get the cutting mat out of the way so we can use the iron. And all we're going to do is fold this in half, wrong sides together. And just because right sides together. And just because I'm sitting right here with you, I'm just going to go ahead and press that. We'll take it to the sewing machine, and we are going to sew that. And the same thing with our 2.5 inch strip. And you're going to see how quickly these come together. You could give it to somebody that maybe is turning 16, that loses their keys all the time. Maybe you have to carry them all day long at work. You can use this because they are scrunchy. They're not like those flat ones. They're not as easy to just fall off your hands. And I like that. I use mine. I have one that has the RV keys on it. And I have one for my e-bike and one for my car, of course. So we use them all around. Let me know how you're going to use yours. So let's go on over to the sewing machine and stitch down your open edge. And anywhere from a 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. I'll meet you back here. All right, guys, did you get your sewn? So now we're going to go ahead and turn it right side out. So just go ahead and use your favorite method. I just use a safety pin to turn it right side out. And just work with it. It'll take you just a moment, but you can do it. And at this point, go ahead and give it a good press and put your seam in the middle of it and get it nice and pressed before we move on. Welcome back. So I hope you got your fabric all pressed out so it should look nice and neat like this. See, there's that little bad spot, and we're gonna scrunch that up and cover it up. But you should have a seam going right down the center of the back, and it's nice and flat. And hopefully you went ahead and cut your elastic to 9.5 inches. And I put my safety pin on in there. And you're going to need a couple of fabric clips as well. So I'm going to thread this through. And just pull your fabric. Now don't let the end of the fabric go past your end of your elastic. That's where the clips come in. So when you get close, just go slow. And when you get to the end, put a clip. And then continue all the way down. And then when you get to the other side, hang on to it and take your safety pin out. And you're going to make sure when you fold it, I'm going to put a clip here just so you guys could see and I don't lose it. So what we're going to do is, it looks like this right now. Here is the inside. Here's my seam line. So I want to fold it where the seam lines touch each other. So the seam line is now on the inside. And I'm going to take my 2 ends and clip them together and go to the sewing machine. And you need to sew over this, you know, like 3 or 4 times. Get it good and secure. And then I'm going to do the 1 inch one the exact same way. Again. So when I go to the sewing machine, I clip it on the side just so nothing falls out. But as you can see, I sewed it several times across on both of them. So now it's time for the key fob. That's all we have left. I open this up and I move the key ring over to the side and I drop my key fob in there where it's just sticking. The edge of your key fob here is lined up with the edge of your tool. And I just close it up a little bit so that it's not going anywhere. And then I take my, what will be our key fob, our keychain, and I line it up in there. And once it's like I want it to be, and my keychain is out of the way, I give it a good squeeze. And then I'm going to move over to the left-hand side and squeeze again. Move the key fob out of the way, go to the right-hand side, and squeeze again. And just like that, I have this ready for somebody for Valentine's Day. And then I could just move these all the way around. And then it just goes on your wrist like that. And you can hang your keys from it now. And it's not going to fall off of you. What a great gift this would make. So in the comments, go ahead and leave us a idea of how you're going to use it. And on our Facebook page, Sewing RV Style, we would love to see the key fobs that you make. If you like this shirt, it's over on our Etsy shop. All right. Happy sewing, everyone. See you soon.